terms of impacting winning, Blake Buchanan has as much impact as anybody that entered the game, and potentially more. He has 4 blocks. He's active around the rim on the glass. He's great, like you said, great decision maker, playmaker. First to the floor for a loose ball at 6'11". You don't see that all the time. He's just such a competitor and a winner, and he rolls his ankle. He can't get back in the game fast enough. There's no mentally I think he's in such a great place, and he's such a competitor that I think the things that you put in your mind, your body will follow, and Blake's a great example of that, and made so many impactful plays for our team to come out the win.
And the start to the second half, I don't know, what, 16-0, something like that. Was there anything you adjusted to, or did the guys just execute that much better?
Right, I think the physical part, I think certainly in the first half they were the more physical team, right? They were more physical defensively, they were more physical offensively, and I think certainly challenging our guys at halftime, knowing that was going to be a big part of it. Our ball pressure, generating turnovers, scoring off our turnovers. I felt like even in the first half, sometimes on a turnover, we walked it up. We didn't have the same pace or the same relentless force to get in the paint to the rim. And so I think, that run after half, 14-0, 22-3, ends up being the difference in the game for us. And, we've been in spots before at halftime where the game was tight, not where we were down like that. We talked about at half, like that was more adversity than we have had at halftime in any game this year, both by, they had the game going from a style standpoint, how they wanted it. And then the other part of it is, us being down, having to fight back out of it. So, but we've had the experiences with St. John's. We came out quick. Syracuse second half, we had a great second half on the road on Saturday. So we talked to our guys about, in the second half, we've had these impacts. We need to have it right now. And they really stepped up with the pressure and the physicality to get to the basket and get to the rim and the foul line.
Nate they had that lay in on a hustle play late. Is that what makes him, a guy you want on the floor at the end of these games?
Yeah, Nate does a lot of things as well to make your team win. And, specifically, we had him out there, defensively late because we believe in his ability to be a stopper for us. We threw a lot of different defenders at starts. Certainly, Killian had a good amount, and then, Heisey's kind of, the finisher defensively for us. He did a great job last year in our game against Marquette and some others in doing that job, and he's a guy that can guard the basketball, without help. And so he makes winning plays when it matters, and he did that for us tonight.
You spoke a little bit earlier about Blake Buchanan and some of the effort plays that he made. What does it say about his selflessness that he's willing to make those plays?
Yeah, he's just a winner and a competitor. He wants to do whatever he can for his team to be successful, and whatever that job is, whether it's facilitate offense, get to the glass, first to the floor. He's an elite defensive player. He covers up so many things in the block. So it speaks volumes about his family, his character, his upbringing, the coaches he's played for prior to being here. Played for one of my best friends prior to coming here. I know he's very well coached, but Blake's got a tremendous sense of pride. He's got a bright future in basketball, because finding guys at 6'11" that'll do anything to win is very rare, and we're very fortunate to have him.
I know that you guys demand a high buy-in factor and hold your players to a very high standard. Was there ever a process of getting Blake to that, or did he come into your program and meet the standard immediately?
Yeah, he met the standard immediately from a toughness, competitiveness, from a mindset. And I think we've worked with him to continue to build his mindset offensively into the player that he is and can continue to develop into, because we value him. We place tremendous value on the things that he does, and we're going to continue to build his confidence because we see something special in him. We've seen him finish around the rim, floaters, dunks, playmaking, jump hooks. Like, he's got so much to his game. So I think he brought all the intangible things to the table from day one, and we're going to continue to elevate him offensively because he's got a lot of game.
TJ, what was the key to throwing Bennett Sturts off kilter? I believe he was scoreless for the first 17 minutes of the second half.
I think it's just you've got to have an awareness to him at all times, because when he gives up the basketball, he's coming back off a screening action, and when he passes it, he's coming right back. We call it get action for like come right back for a handoff or a pitch back. So you can never rest, and it's just important that everybody knows as much as the person defending him is so important. It's everybody else with your team defense having a great awareness as well. And he plays with a tremendous pace offensively. He's a guy that's an elite decision maker over and over again. And for us to have that type of defensive intent, we knew we needed to, because we respect so much what he's able to do. So, just our guys were really locked into doing that job.
DJ, heard that. There was a lot of emotion shown in one of those timeouts early on in the first half. How proud are you of your team to show that toughness and respond the way they did after that timeout?
Yeah, no, it's important that we have that response and we have that pride. And like I said, everything's not going to be perfect. We put ourselves in a position as we move forward. Obviously, this is a rivalry game, and we have a lot of respect for our opponent. And we knew they were going to come in here and give us a great shot. And we have to expect that from teams now. When you've done the things that we've done to this point, everybody circles the game on the schedule. So we've always got to respond coming out of those timeouts. And even better, we've got to stay consistent so we don't put ourselves in position where the other team is playing a more physical style than we are for a part of the game.
And Joshua as well responded really well, 24 game high for him. How awesome is it to see him shine in a moment like this, a game that means so much to a lot of people?
Yeah, no, it's a credit to his work. I mean, he's done such a great job in the off season in terms of working on his body and continuing to hone his craft. And he's really just such a tough matchup at his size, with his skill level, his intelligence, his feel, his ability to get all the way to the goal. He's shooting it with confidence. So, it speaks to all the work he does every single day for it to show up, especially when we needed it down the stretch. The big plays and big free throws and things that he brings to our team all the time.
To stay with Jeff, I guess, how would you describe the level that he's producing at, through however many games?
Yeah, it's consistent from a standpoint that you also know the other team is making a lot of choices and decisions to try to keep him off balance, whether it's help defenders in the paint, rotation defender at the rim, whether it's trying to be overly physical with him at times to try to disrupt his natural rhythm, and the consistency he has of putting pressure on the defense. And the great thing for our team is that when he does that and they make certain decisions, he's such a willing passer, and he's totally good with having a 10 assist game or continuing to move the ball for his teammates. So it's a great step for him, and he's continued to demonstrate a level of consistency game in and game out. It's a credit to his mental toughness and his work.
35 minutes for him tonight. He played some minutes at the 5. He played some minutes as a facilitator for your offense. How much are you asking of him, and how is he delivering?
Yeah, no, we're asking a lot, but we're not asking anything he's not capable of. He's capable of being an elite rebounder. He's capable of being a facilitator, playmaker, decision maker, a scorer, make winning plays, make intelligent plays, and do it on both ends, and do it in heavy minutes. So we can find ways outside of the games to make sure his body gets the recovery and necessary things that he needs so that he can be best on the game night. But in most cases, it's not compromising the minutes on the night of the game, because he does so many impactful winning things.
You and your staff do as good a job as anyone in game planning for opponents. And what you saw in Iowa coming in, what was maybe different, or what did they throw you, maybe some wrinkles that you weren't expecting?
I think first it's disrupting our offense. We've come off some pretty good offensive games recently, and I don't want to say that it's not that it's been easy. We've just been able to get what we wanted and get great shots and get great possessions. We knew with their defensive scheme that they were really going to try to load up the paint and make it really hard for us to not only get into the paint, but then score once we get in there. And they did a great job of that in the first half. And our counter and our way to offset that is to try to get more transition possessions, try to get more off turnovers, try to get more off pace. So, credit to them and their discipline for continuing in the half court, defensively to be as disruptive as they were. And I think, again, even in the second half, they adjusted after we had the runs they made the adjustment to try to space us and drive us more and take us off the bounce, and then we had to do a better job blocking and guarding the dribble. So, you know, they've got a good team, a good program, you know, a way of doing things. There's a lot of guys you can tell that they trust their coach. They've been with them for a number of years, and that comes out with how they play and the decisions they make on the court. And those are also things, you know, even though it's a new coach and a new team, when you bring, you know, when you got a handful of guys that have been with you and you have that experience with you, that pays off, and you can feel that during the game.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.